Hello and welcome to my mom's basement, ladies and gentlemen. It is Robbie Fox, and I am here with Dominik Mysterio, son of the great Rey Mysterio, ahead of the Royal Rumble this weekend. Dominik will be in the match. I can't wait for this. Dominik, I want to start here. This past year and a half, 2 years for you has to have been a whirlwind, right? How long did you even have the idea set in your mind that, okay, I'm going to follow in my father's footsteps and become a pro wrestler before your debut at SummerSlam against Seth Rollins?
Oh man. First of all, thank you so much for having me, man. I'm excited to be here. But it's been a crazy year and a half, man. I can tell you that. I think the first time I was always a fan, since I was a kid, I needed to have all the action figures, I needed to be at all the shows. But I think for me what really did it was my last year of high school. I was a senior and I told my dad that I wanted to give it a shot and see how it went. And he was the one to tell me. He's like, all right. He's like, I'll be the first one to know if you got it. If you don't, he goes, I'll let you know right then and there too. And I was like, all right, man. It's like, okay. So, next thing you know, we jumped into a ring and he goes, all right, let's see where this goes. And the rest is history, man. I trained for about 2.5, 3 years maybe, because I started training in about 2018. So yeah, about two and a half, no, maybe even earlier, 2017. But everything just came so fast with the debut at SummerSlam against Seth. That it's all been crazy, man. I'm so blessed and I'm so happy to be here.
That really is crazy to see like the journey going from okay, deciding I want to do this to 3 years later, you're at SummerSlam. It's insane, and very few people have had like that experience in the wrestling business. So like it's a credit to you, it's a credit to how fast that you've picked everything up. Debuting during the pandemic also had to be like a weird thing, right? Because everyone around you is probably telling you like it's not going to be this way like always. It's going to be cooler when there's a full crowd and stuff. So what was that like, and what was it like transitioning to okay, now there's packed arenas?
Yeah, man. Honestly, you nailed it right on the head with that one. I was when I first debuted, I was so pumped. I was so excited, man. Like my blood was rushing. Like I was freaking like it was hard to stop me. Like I was so excited. And I just remember everyone telling me, man, just wait till we get back to a live crowd. It's a different vibe. It's a different energy. And I'm like, how could it be a different energy, man? I'm like, I have freaking loads of energy in here. How is it gonna be any different? And sure enough, man, that first show with the live crowd on that 6-man tag, we go out there and first thing, man, my blood is just boiling. I have goosebumps everywhere. And it's like I go in there and like I have energy to run 10 matches. Like it's absolutely crazy, just the level of energy that the crowd just brings to you in there with that whole building just, rumbling, and it's awesome.
Do you have a favorite moment that you've had in front of the live crowd so far?
Man, I think I would have to say being like that first show back, waiting with my dad on the side and then freaking Edge's music hitting and just him standing in the middle of both of us with the titles on and just freaking hitting that pose with them like with the fireworks in the back. Fun fact too, I absolutely hate fireworks. I can't. If we're in the back, there's like a little red light that blinks whenever there's fireworks or pyro going to be going. So I always cover my ears and I get in like a fetal position because I can't. My ears are so sensitive that I just can't. I can't do it. I get freaked out. So when I was out there, I remember thinking, man, this is gonna suck because I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna ruin the moment. Dude, I didn't even hear the pyro. I was just so in the moment that I was freaking lifting my hands up. I was so excited. And that's one of the few, man. I think that one, and then just being able to tag with John Cena too, man, in the house shows, it just was crazy.
I was going to ask you about that because I was actually at one of those matches. I was at Madison Square Garden for it was like the September 11th SmackDown, and you guys had a six
Yeah,
man tag with John Cena and the Usos against the Bloodline. So it's Roman Reigns and the Usos. It's a great match. I wanted to ask you, like, what was that experience like? Your main eventing at Madison Square Garden.
it's freaking it's crazy, man. Like that again, this is one of the things that like I shouldn't be doing this, right? Like this isn't like I shouldn't be in the position that I'm currently in, and I'm so blessed and so fortunate to be in it. But that night it was a SmackDown, and it was our first time back at MSG, and I remember I wrestled Sami Zayn that night, and I was so excited because I wrestled I wrestled at Madison Square Garden. It's everyone's dream. And next thing you know, something happened where we were like, "Hey, you guys are in the dark match now with Cena." And we were like, all right, cool. Like, and then Vince is walking out and he goes, what's better than wrestling at the Garden once? He goes, wrestling at the Garden twice. So I was like, hell yeah, man, this is awesome. Let's go out there and do it. So, we went out there and rocked the house again.
That's awesome. You did rock the house. Place was going wild for that match, and you like spent 90% of the match in the ring. So it was like
Yeah.
awesome for you to get that experience too.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah. They're beating the hell out of me, but it was fun.
Yeah. So you have been teaming with your dad for a while now. I'm a huge fan of you guys as a duo, and I'm a huge fan of your gear as well. I'm like such a fan of just professional wrestling, like attire, gear, and stuff. You guys have some of the best. I wanted to ask you, where did you get the idea for like what Dominik Mysterio is going to look like in the ring? I assume you didn't want to just do the same thing as your dad. You wanted to make it a little different. Where did that come from?
So I'm a big comic book guy, man, like and a big movie guy. So I get a lot of I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I remember I had presented it to my dad, like what I kind of want and what my outfit is, and he just that dude is other than being a genius in the ring, he has a creative mind that's like he'll he'll just start coming up with things like he's not the greatest artist, but he can draw,
Mhm.
and he just started sketching some things together, just putting it together, and then he sent it to one of his guys to like kind of just finishing it up. And dude, they kind of just put it together for me, and it was like I just looked like a badass Power Ranger Deadpool mix, like which is kind of what I was going for anyways. And everything just kind of fit together, and we try to incorporate the mask in there, but like people already knew my face, so we went with the hood. And
Mhm.
actually I have a couple of my outfits all right here, just kind of
Oh
just laying
yeah.
around. Yeah, so we got
That's
a
look at
couple
that's
here that
really it looks like a superhero's closet.
it does, man, a little bit, right? You got all
Yeah.
different colors, but I got a couple in there that you guys haven't seen, and then a couple that are some classics now that I like to call.
What's your favorite set that you've worn?
Man, I think my favorite set that I've worn, my SummerSlam 2021,
The
when we
Macho
faced
Man?
the Macho Man.
That's my favorite. I was hoping you were gonna say that because it's my favorite too.
That's I've only worn it once, man, and I've been dying to wear it again. But my dad, like, every outfit that I get is to match his,
Hmm.
because he has all the colors possible, and it's like you walk into it's like walking into a store, man. It's like you got two stories of just like outfits, and it's freaking absolutely nuts. So I go in there when I go visit him. I go in there and I'll pick some color schemes to match, and then I'll get that outfit made, and I'm like, hey pops, I'm taking this color. He'll look for it, and I've told him before. I'm like, hey man, let's take that SummerSlam gear, and he goes, no, 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 let's save that. So he likes to be very particular with his gear and what he wears, but he has so much that I'm like, dude, I'm like, I have like 10 outfits maybe. And
Yeah.
he has
Hundreds.
over hundreds. So it's
Yeah.
like for me to match his is kind of hard. So I gotta work with what I got.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're here to discuss the Royal Rumble. So I want to go back to the Royal Rumble, 2006. Your father wins it. What do you remember about that match? Were you watching live? I assume you were.
Yeah, I was watching it. I remember I was so pissed off, man, when I saw Triple H dragging him out of there. Cause I remember it was RVD, my dad, Randy, and Triple H.
Yeah.
I was so excited, man. I was like, all right, what's going to happen here? Next thing you know, Rob goes out. I'm like, crap, my dad's screwed. I was like, there's no way this is. And then Triple H goes out, and I'm freaking ecstatic. I'm like, he's winning it. This is a done deal. Next thing you know, he gets dragged out and thrown into the steps. I'm the most pissed off kid in the world. I'm like, it's done. It's over. There's no hope here. I started walking away, and then my mom was like, Dom, 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 come back running. Pops is eliminating Randy, man, and it's so awesome. And like just revisiting that right now, it's like it's pretty wild to think that I'm gonna be in this upcoming Rumble, with my dad. And that's again, man, it's another position that I shouldn't be in, and I'm just blessed.
I mean, you guys were in a very similar position last week when you went to eliminate him, he went to eliminate you. It was almost like the ending of that '06 Rumble. Did you have like a real hatred for your dad's rivals when you were little?
I wouldn't say a real hatred, but I was pretty upset.
They
Like I
could
was
piss you off.
yeah, yeah, I was one of those kids that I could get emotional about it. Like when I back in the day too, I've mentioned this in the past. For my first memory of my dad wrestling is him getting smacked in the head with the guitar by Jeff Jarrett. man, I was so pissed. Like things like that just lit a fuel under me. And even when he had his what was it with Miz back in the day, like I could not stand. I'm telling you, I could not stand the Miz. And I would go to the back and I'd travel with my dad and I would see the Miz and I like wouldn't want to say hi to him, and he would
Turn
come
the
up
other
to me
way.
because yeah, because he would know to like make me angry, and he's like, "It's your favorite wrestler right here," and I'm just like, "Man, like it's not you, it's not you," but he would carry that on, man. But I would definitely remember getting upset with certain people when they would do things to my dad for sure.
Oh man, that's funny. Do you have a favorite match of your dad's?
Um, so I have a couple favorites. There's his matches with Undertaker are just pretty special to me, just because no one makes Taker bleed like that.
Yeah.
And my dad did it twice on accident, but
One of
still,
those were
man,
at the
those
Rumble, right? So it's like,
yeah,
bam, talking about the
yeah,
Rumble. There you go.
back at it again. But just his matches with Edge too, back in the day, his tag team matches with him and Edge versus, the Basham brothers or Eminem, like it was so good, man. And but I have so many matches that I could just keep going.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure you've been asked this before as well, but the custody battle storyline. As that's going on, were you kind of kayfabing your friends? Like that was in August, right? So you go back to school the next month. I assume every single kid in school had questions for you. Were you kind of like keeping your distance with what you were telling them?
I mean, I didn't even know very much, man. As a kid, I was just kind of I knew what I was told basically. But I think more than the kids, the teachers were very intrigued. They didn't know if it was like actual TV or if they were concerned about who I was going home with, because they would ask me if my home life was okay, if I was good. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, man. Like I'm barely coming to school. I'm traveling with my dad. Like I'm this third grader just having the time of his life, like not going to school half the time. But yeah, the kids too, it would get a little like annoying at times because they're like, "Who's your real dad, man? Is it Eddie or is it Ray?" I'm like, "Dude, I think it's Ray. You know, I'm pretty sure it's him. I've known him since I was a kid." But then it's like, man, I've also known Eddie since I was a kid. Like he's been coming over and spending the night at our house since like I could remember. Like I'd wake up and have breakfast with this guy. Like it was nothing. So
Yeah.
it's like it made me think as a kid too, and I'm like, man, I think it is Ray. But I think what the funniest part was the teachers, the teachers getting into it as well, like making sure that I had a good home life.
Definitely. I saw they're making an action figure of third grade you. Did you see that? Like, what are your thoughts on that? I thought it was so funny. They put out the prototype and I mean, it looks like you from SummerSlam '05.
It it does, man. That to the shirt, to the baggy pants, and everything. It's honestly so surreal, man. Like to have my own action figure. Like I'm pretty sure I am the only WWE superstar to have an action figure as an adult and as a kid.
Have to be.
Like
You have to be.
I
Yeah.
I don't know of anyone else that would have an action figure as a kid. You know what I mean? And it's like again that like this shouldn't be happening, man. And I'm so fortunate to be in this position, and it's honestly it's pretty crazy.
It's crazy. I remember watching SummerSlam '05 like it was yesterday because your dad was my favorite wrestler, absolute favorite. So like I'm watching that and on your behalf, you're a year older than I am. So I was
Mhm.
terrified for you. I was like, Eddie's gonna win this fucking ladder match, and this guy's gonna have to go home with Eddie. What's gonna go? Like I was absolutely terrified. And then obviously when Ray wins, it was a huge relief for me. I could take a big deep breath. I was like, all right,
Yeah, you're
it's
like,
gonna
all
be
right,
all right.
he's gonna be in good hands.
Exactly. Yeah. Besides your dad, who are the wrestlers that inspire you the most when it comes to your in-ring style?
Man, I would say I watched a lot of so growing up I watched a lot of the WCW cruiserweights. I try to, even though I'm a little bit bigger than my dad, I tried to imitate his style or just kind of take from him. But I think a lot of the guys like my dad, Eddie, Psychosis, Juventud, Dean Malenko. I grew up watching those, so I think just casually I picked up their style a little
Yep.
bit. But I think also just now growing up and like realizing what's good for me, what's benefiting me, not just what I like. The work style of Randy, the work style of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. Like these are just like some legends that like I've been studying now. Like Ricky Steamboat. Roddy Piper. I'm going back and watching all these classics now that I didn't really I watched as a kid, but I didn't appreciate it.
Hmm.
So now it's like a different appreciation and understanding for it that I'm starting to pick up and kind of mimic and do certain things like they do.
Who are the people that you would go to today backstage for advice if you were seeking advice and you're like, I don't want to go to dad for this one? Like, who is someone that you would go to?
So me personally, I'm a shy dude, man. I'm not the type of guy to like go up to someone and like ask for it, even though I know that's what you're supposed to do. But I think some of the guys that have been just super helpful overall have been, guys like Edge, Randy, a lot of the producers in the back, Hurricane, Jason Jordan, just a lot of the guys that just, kind of give me like help with what can do better, like intensity, opening your eyes, things that the cameras are looking for. And guys from like Edge and Randy that like if they have the time, because they're busy throughout the whole day, if they have time and they're able to watch, what we did on TV, like our match, they'll let me know. They'll give me their advice or what they thought or little things here and there. But I it's just crazy to be able to think that I could go up to these guys and just pick their brains. And there's a time and place for it. And I think when that time and place appears, that I definitely go ahead and pick their brains.
Yeah. Do you ever work with Pat Buck?
I do.
Yeah.
There's been a couple times where we did some things with him. Not It's been very very minimal, but it's yeah it's very it's been very very small. But I've definitely gotten to work with Pat.
He trained me. I wanted to be a wrestler, so he trained me for a summer when I was in high school, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm not cut out for that." I mean, look at my frame, I was like, "Ah, this isn't for me." But we've kept in touch. He's a great guy, so like, I always like to hear that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Who are your dream opponents in the WWE?
Man, I would say I have a lot of dream opponents just because I'm hungry and I want them all. But I think off of just because of the legacy and the lineage and the Hispanic culture that we carry, I think anyone between me against Escobar from NXT or even Garza and Humberto from SmackDown, like those matches would just be, for me, like that's something that we could do for the culture for
Yeah,
us. But I think the bigger picture would be I would love to get my hands on Seth again, man. Like he got me at the very beginning, and I think it would be cool to be able to step in the ring with him now. After what I've learned, have a couple matches under my belt. I'm a former tag team champion now, so I think it would be a different story. I don't know if it'd be a different outcome because I mean Seth is that dude, but it would definitely be a different match for
it'd
sure.
be full circle.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, most definitely. And like I've said this before, I think as long as Seth is still in the WWE with us, I think I'm going to be seeing a lot of him. I would love to. He saw me at the beginning. I'm going to see him sometime in the middle, and I know I'm going to catch him at the end somehow. So we'll see. But Seth is one guy. Randy, another dude. Man, like, why wouldn't you want to be in there with one of the best to ever do it?
hmm,
Him, Roman. I'd love to get in the ring with Riddle. Another one for the culture, Damian Priest. Like, there's just so many guys, man, that I'd love to work with. But all in due time.
yeah. Who do you think the funniest member of the WWE roster is?
Man, other than I think our truth, man. Our
Yeah.
truth is just he's just naturally that like what you see on TV is him. Like that's that's 100% him. And it's
I've
like
heard that
there's
before. That R-Truth is the funniest backstage. Yeah,
dude, it's like you not only is he the funniest, but like when he's not around, you'll know when he's around. Like
yeah.
his laugh is just so like it's like, oh man, like that's Ronnie.
Yeah.
We know that's
He's
our
like a
truth.
presence in the room.
For sure, man. And he's a good dude too. I mean, I'd love to get in the ring with him too before he decides to hang it up, but that would be another fun one.
Yeah, what a career he's had. He's been in wrestling for so long and he's been so good for so long. It's crazy. And
Yeah.
finally, if I could knock down that quote unquote forbidden door for you and allow you to face one person that's not currently in the WWE, they don't have to be in any company. They could be a free agent. If someone that's just not currently in the company, who would that be for you?
Hook.
Oh, that's a great answer. That I mean, two second generation superstars there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun one. Um, again for the culture, I think Penta and Phoenix. Me and my dad against Penta and Phoenix, man. I think we would freaking knock the doors down and just bring the house down. Anything possible, man. I think
Yeah.
we would freaking tear
That's
it
a
down with those
no-brainer.
guys. Yeah. I think Andrade would be another one. He
Mhm.
uh he left us, but I think he would be another one. Punk.
Yeah.
Um, there's like Sting,
Dad had a great
Darb.
WrestleMania match against Punk.
Yeah, yeah. Like, man, it's just there's so many guys, man, that I would love to, work with, but we'll see. We'll see what the future holds, man.
Yeah, of course. It's wrestling in 2022, so you truly never know what's going to happen. It's the
Exactly.
wildest time that, I've ever been alive for in the business. So, Dominic,
Yeah.
thank you
And
so
then
much for joining ahead of the Royal Rumble. This has been a blast. It's been a pleasure getting to talk to you, pick your brain a little bit about wrestling. I wish you all the best in the future, all the success in the world.
thank you very much, Robbie. Appreciate you. And thank you guys for having me again.